All right, welcome. Welcome to my first live stream in a extremely long time. I am excited to go over this topic. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that this is one of actually like my top three topics that I'm really passionate about and really passionate to cover just because of how extremely important it is in the community and just for individual portfolios. So as always, I'm going to start just to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. So I will ask you, can you hear me? And then I'm going to explain kind of what I'm doing tonight. So pretty much I've done a series of posts. It really polls across different platforms, going over just kind of getting like a feel for the market to see how many people have actually removed their coins from exchanges, how many of them are actually trying, and if not, why. And roughly about 30%, I say 40% of the polls have come back. And this is several polls across different exchanges. So we're talking about, a few thousand people, which should give me a pretty good feel on my audience, at least, of people who have not removed their coins from the exchanges. So I made a post on Twitter and I asked why. And I'm going to, on this post here, I got 117 comments. So I'm going to go through some of them. Some of them are repeats, but I do believe that the best way to kind of answer questions and stuff like that is just to answer the questions directly. So instead of typing them up, I'm just going to scroll through the comment sections and we'll kind of go from there. So, and before I go into that, I just want to mention that the reason I'm very adamant about this is yes, we've seen a lot of transitions over like the last few months, but I don't believe that we're finished. I believe that there is more to come, and I think that this is something that I won't say it's necessary, but it often happens. And we have that consolidation for control purposes and just business practices and stuff like that. But more importantly, we'll see this consolidation in crypto and with the brokerages. So I do believe there's more to come, and we'll probably end up with around like one or two. But I'll save that for a different video. I kind of covered it in my last one. So let's see. So yeah, 117. Jason Ellison, I took your advice. When you first started pushing, get your coins off exchanges and bought a ledger. Best advice ever. That's great, and I'm really glad a lot of you guys took advantage of that. I like some of these, but I wanted to save it for the post when I decided to, for the video when I decided to go live. So I'm just going to go through them, and then I'll like them with my little, I guess, official heart thing. I got a lecture months ago at the first sign of insolvencies, but you've been preaching about getting your coins off exchanges so that we could limit how much power the shorts have over the coin. You're always one step one step ahead of the game. Yeah, and that's another benefit too, because when you leave them on there, in addition to them taking your coins and you literally going broke, yes, they also have the ability to use them for collateral purposes, for themselves, for loans, shorts. It can be a number of different things. Wraparound tokens. It can be a number of different things, and then that's another story as well with Binance, because I know right now everybody's looking at Binance as like the safe haven. Like, oh, okay, well, as long as Binance is good, we're good. And the crypto market is going to collapse, but we cannot forget Binance was in fact having wraparound tokens earlier this year. So, and we don't really have, they never really addressed it as to, what their intent was behind it. So, we'll see now that the competition is being eliminated, we'll see how they handle things. I usually got the ledger straight from the source. I sleep much better now. Thanks, Mike. Um, let's see. Because I'm more likely to fail than Robinhood is, I can easily imagine losing my keys, breaking something, etc. I trust myself less than I trust Robinhood. So, um, so was this ghost level 0? So even if you lose your keys, you can still recover them as long as you have your key phrase. And I think that's a very common misconception in the community. As long as you have your key phrase, you can still recover your coin. So it's not necessarily about that particular device. And I'm sure some people are going to have some similar questions, but it's impossible to remove your coins from the blockchain. So when you see people saying, "Oh, I have my coins right here" and stuff like that, your coins are not actually on the ledger. I'll save that for a little later in the video, but you don't necessarily like pull your coins off of the blockchain and put them in your ledger. That's not how it works. Your ledger is more so just a key to access them. If Binance goes down, then it's over. That's what people will give up on exchanges. However, I agree that most of your coins should be off exchanges. Yeah, if Binance goes down, we're going to be in a world of trouble. We'll definitely see some new lows here. We'll probably break trend. Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin will probably hit the extreme side of that, like 85, 90%. So we're talking like $9,000, $10,000 Bitcoin. But I believe long term, at least the quality ones are the ones that have the community, they'll be fine. But yeah, Binance will certainly shake crypto in a much more violent way than FTX did. This whole year, Robinhood didn't have wallets after I had invested. I didn't sell because I was afraid of crypto spiking during the week or so it would have taken to get my money from them and reinvest. I also didn't want to have to pay short-term gains tax if I could hold out for a year. But people that can just transfer out need to actively work towards that for real. Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the reason. It's simple, from John Michael Perla. Most people, including myself, do not trust tens of thousands of dollars in a USB drive that can easily get wet, destroyed, or lost. The whole point of crypto is to be on the internet and not in a USB stick or hard drive. There's countless stories of people forgetting the keys or losing the stick, throwing it out, and getting stolen. Yeah, so like what I was saying earlier, your coins are not actually in the USB stick or your ledger, for example. Yeah, the ledger is just providing you access. It's literally just giving you a key to access them, and really it's only you. So it's just kind of like having, like, if you want to say that your crypto is in like a pool, like what these exchanges do, they're not going to be able to add your crypto to the pool or lend it or whatever they want to do, wraparound tokens and stuff like that, because your access has been limited to the actual coin. So they don't have the ability, even if they go bankrupt or start doing like a cash grab for collateral purposes, they can't do that with your coin because they don't have the phrase for it. You can throw your ledger off a cliff, your dog can eat it, you can flush it down the toilet, whatever. What's most important is those key phrases, those words that you get when you set up your device. That's what's most important. You can get a different device, and as long as you remember those words, you can access your coins. So it's not necessarily, like I was saying, the biggest misconception is people think that their coins are actually inside of the device. That's not the case. Your house is like, you can just consider Ledger Live kind of like your house, right? But you need a specific key to kind of get in, right? You're going to need those phrases. So is, you know where home is, where your technically your crypto is stored. So you just kind of have to have that key, which is going to be those phrases. And as long as you have those phrases, you can consider the phrases like the cut to your key, right? So if you lose your key, and you can get it like a blank key, and if you remember the cut, aka those phrases, you can still access your coins. I hope that makes sense. I totally just made that analogy up right there on the spot. I hope that makes sense for you. I think most of these people, like me, have to rely on their phones for all things internet. I understand. You can certainly do that and have, through like Bluetooth and stuff as well. But it's really just worth the investment, because I think that what people are hoping is that it doesn't happen to me, or I don't want to, or I'm trapped on an exchange that doesn't have a wallet or something like that. But you have to understand that you're risking, 100%, because you don't want to, lose or move around 5% or 10%. So you're risking the entire 100% for 10% savings, quote unquote. So it doesn't make sense. That's not a good investment strategy. The transition needs to be clearly broken down. Also, people have to consider if and how much they're willing to trade anytime versus holding long term. Now, that I agree with. There's multiple links and stuff I posted for Ledger, so I'll go back and I'll post some in this in the description section of this video. But they really have videos, tutorials, and stuff like that on how to do so. And it's not like you're getting secondhand information. They provide those videos and instructions for you as well. And as far as for trading, absolutely. I do believe if you're trading, then of course you need to have access to your coins. So you're going to need some you're going to have to access quickly, or just have them on the exchange. I completely get that. It's just for the people that are holding long term, or waiting on the bull market and stuff like that, or waiting on, in Dogecoin, for example, waiting on Twitter's integration, or the big catalyst, or the moon launch, whatever. If you're just waiting for the bigger catalyst, or you just have a long term position, yeah, that's crazy to risk it just sitting on there, hoping that these exchanges are doing the right things behind closed doors. We've had a countless amount of evidence this year that they are in fact not doing the right things behind closed doors. So it just doesn't make sense to risk that. But if you're trading, yes, I understand you have to have access to your coins. I like the fact that Robinhood keeps track of your average, how much you invested. Can you recommend a way to do it? I flunked math. No, it's fine. And even outside of like your averages, because you can do it like externally, or have like your own spreadsheet. Because I don't have all of my, I don't purchase all of my crypto in like the same place, but you can kind of keep that update like on Ledger Live and stuff like that as well. Or you can have it personally written down, or on an Excel sheet. I always believe in having multiple copies of things, just in case. But I think that your average is kind of okay, even if it's not to the decimal. But I think the important thing is to, just make sure that our averages aren't zero, because they took the coins, right? So you'll be able to do that like on Ledger Live. And if you want something kind of that you kind of know, you can just say, I bought, I don't know, $1,000 on Robinhood, $1,000 on crypto.com, 2,000 on, at whatever prices and stuff like that, and keep track of your average. But more so, you're looking at this from like an insurance standpoint. That's going to be priority number one over, like averages and stuff like that, in my opinion. So I just still think that, despite, even if you lost track of your averages and stuff like that, I still think that this is the best way to go. So can you tell me a David video I can refer onto on how to move my coin from exchanges? I'll do it today. Thanks. I know you talked about this a ton, but today is the day. Thanks, AJ. I'm going to put a link in the description section so that we can. So there'll be clear evidence, and it'll be directly from Ledger, so you're not getting it from a YouTuber and stuff like that. I'll update when I close out this live. I'll update the description section, and you'll be able to do that. And also, for those of you who don't have Ledgers, they are doing a promotion this week for Black Friday. So if you go through my link and use promo code Black Friday 10. It will give you 10% off. The Bitcoin promotion was over yesterday, the free Bitcoin, but they're still giving 10% off until Monday if you use that promo code. Honest answer is that I use Robinhood. I don't have the ability to pull it off. I could sell and use some other brokerage, but I don't trust selling, because every time I do, it moons without me. And I'm just not familiar enough with any other exchanges to use them, and just to buy and pull off the crypto. Plus, my life is chaotic, and I don't know if I could reasonably ensure that I wouldn't lose a little USB drive. So it's like Keller C, same thing. Your coins are not on the USB drive. It's just your access mechanism, but you can, continuously access them if you get a new ledger. What's most important that you must never lose are those key phrases. That's going to be your that's really your actual key. The ledger is more so just your device that kind of helps you access them. I understand about Robinhood and its simplicity. That is what got Robinhood to the place it is now. And I'm going to say this, and I may be going out on a limb when I say this, but Robinhood, places like Robinhood, even though Robinhood has wallets and Webull doesn't have wallets, but I do believe that if there were like a cash shortage or something like that, these hybrids that do stocks and crypto, let me backtrack. I don't believe any of them are safe. However, these hybrids, something like a Robinhood or a Webull that also do stocks and stuff like that, they have more cash to pull from, so they don't necessarily have to go after crypto initially when there's like a pull or something like that on the company, or like there's a run on the markets. So I don't believe that they're safe, But I do believe that they're some of like the last to go. And I know Vlad has said that they don't lend coins and stuff like that. I haven't been able to verify that, but I'm probably going to do another like live or something. We'll go through TLS like we did Gemini, and we'll confirm that. But as of right now, just based off of the evidence that we have seen, it's extremely risky to have them on there. I'm going to post that link in the description section, and hopefully you just kind of watch it a few times and get familiar. Because sometimes I know it's a headache to learn new things, but just risking, I have no idea how much money you have on there, but risking your investment and opportunity costs and potential gains and stuff like that, just for convenience or familiarity, it's a big risk. So I just, again, this is just completely my opinion. I think it's worth kind of just learning something new and putting that extra effort into it. What happens if your ledger breaks or malfunctions? You can get another one. Just keep track of your key phrases. Life break outdoors. Silverhawk, the exchanges have to be used at some point. If we can't trust them now, ask questions later. Interesting. Exchanges have to be used at some point. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, but they can be used depending on what if we have like more regulations, or if we have like some type of insurance policy. Because right now, as we know in the market, if you get rug pulled, it's like, whoops, you made a bad investment. Shouldn't have trusted them. If the exchanges go bad, if exchanges go broke, it's kind of like, whoops, we tried, and better luck next time. Should have picked a better exchange. Like there's no accountability right now in the market. That's it's one of these things that's kind of like, it's just wild. And when that, we've seen a lot of evidence of it being wild. If you have the opportunity to kind of almost have your ledger at home, it just makes more sense. Just to have it out there, just saying that every night when you go to sleep, it's just better, just versus saying that I sure hope that nobody's doing anything shady at my brokerage that's going to cause a run on the markets or cause them to go bankrupt. It's extremely risky. I wouldn't do it. I'll say that. But later on we get regulation, consequences and stuff like that, or we start seeing some indictments against people doing these types of shady things in the market, then you'll probably see more effort or customer service, accountability and stuff like that, responsibility in these exchanges. But as of right now, pretty much you can do whatever you want and nothing happens. I wouldn't trust them right now. So I agree, maybe at some point, but not right now, for sure. I think people are having a hard time getting off due to the fees. I understand there are fees to buy and sell. I understand that. And there also can be, depending on where you're at, there also can be some slippage. I get it. But again, a little fee is better than losing 100%, because we're talking, when these exchanges go belly up, we're talking 100% plus losses here. So it's just, if you do the math, it just makes more sense to kind of take the fee hit and just be safe with your actual investment. Some people have bought ledgers, and the amount of the time it takes to get the coins off exchange and offline is crazy. Example, I don't have that many coins, but it's going to take me almost 5 days of wait time to get my Doge offline, pay gas fees, and have them on ledger. Then when the price goes to what I'm willing to sell and make a profit, I'll have to pay gas fees again, and no telling how long it's going to take to get the coins back online and sell. I'm not saying it's impossible, but sure, it is deterring. Understood, Marcus. So and this really is a great point here. So you will be able to sell off Ledger Live. You don't necessarily have to go back to an exchange if you don't want to. But yeah, and that's one of the reasons that they kind of don't want runs on the market. That's why they put these caps on to how much you can exchange out. See, you can invest, the cap of money you can put in is not capped in that regard. So this is just one of those things that they say that, okay, well, whether it's like a Robinhood, I think Robinhood's like $5,000 or something like that a day, that they're going to say, hey, if you got 100K, we don't need to take those types of hits from, a day from like one person if they're trying to vacuum out their accounts. We kind of need to see this coming and kind of account for it so that we're not having these wild swings in our accounting and our books. And, for as far as for them running their business, that is a tell when it comes down to their whether or not they're solvent, how much money they have in there, have they lent those coins out? And I'm not saying Robinhood specifically, but just the brokerage. These are just questions you have to ask. Is when you start seeing these caps, and even some of them have reduced the amount of coins that you can take off, you have to start asking questions. So I understand it can be a headache, it can take time, but it's no better place to have it, than in your control, because you're not doing shady business and risking going bankrupt, so that you're going to have to use your coins. So it's just, I understand. I've seen several of these comments. It's a headache. I get it, but it's much better than getting cleaned out. Fact, what's a good exchange though? I don't really trust anyone right now. Too much shady business. I don't really think the exchange matters. I don't really see anything wrong with buying on Robinhood. I think Robinhood is fine. But I just don't think you should keep your coins on there if you are holding long term. If you're trading, you're going to need access to capital and coins. I get it. But your long term position, I don't think it matters where you get it from, just as long as you don't keep it there and you have the ability to trade out and get yourself on something like a private wallet. They're going to learn today. Trading Mr. Expert. Okay, what is this? Oh, yeah. He was saying that people were trading and stuff like that. Yeah, so I know for a fact most people that hold Doge don't trade, so that's why I was answering him. Bought a ledger at 41 USD, I guess like a year ago from now on Amazon, are $80+. Yeah, be careful with that. Where you get your ledgers from. Just make sure that's coming directly from the company. They're actually in Paris. So just kind of make sure that, especially eBay. eBay is the worst place to go. Don't get anything that from eBay. Don't get anything used. You're going to get killed. Like and probably robbed relatively quickly as soon as you upload stuff on there. So just be careful where you're getting it from. I heard you talk about it, but how do we make the change? I'll post a link in the description section. It'll kind of go over it, but it really depends on whether or not your exchange offers these wallets. And if they do, they'll have instructions on how to kind of switch out or move them over, and we'll kind of go from there. Let's see. I'm going back over. Is he live or pre-recorded? No, my friend, I'm live. Andy, I am live. I take a peek over here now at the comments every now and then, but I wanted to go through these because I know that these are some of the questions that people have about moving their coins. But no, Andy, I am live. This is not pre-recorded. Let's see. Go through some of these. Let's see. If you're reading this, you're in the right joint there. Thanks. Is there an FTX Ledger connection? No, there is not. Ledger has already kind of like denounced that. I forget the name of the company, but I posted a link to all the different investments that Ledger has, and they invested in something called Ledger. I think it was done on purpose to create some type of brand confusion, brand association, but they're not linked to the actual Ledger wallets. No, oh my God, if Ledger and FTX were actually like partners or linked, that would be mass panic. I would have addressed that like immediately, because at that point I'm in trouble too. My money's on there, so that would have been addressed relatively quickly. Let's see. Do I think SBF will see jail time? I do. I think he will. This is too big to ignore. And I think that at that level specifically, they kind of have to kind of start establishing for where they want to go, and also use it as a catalyst for their Fed crypto dollar or whatever they plan on revealing soon. But yeah, I definitely think he's gonna go to jail. I think that's kind of going to be the catalyst, or kind of like the beheaded leader that they hold up to see. Like, oh, see, this is what happens. Look what he did. This is one of the reasons why you should trust something that's backed by us. And you guys seen that JP Morgan got their approval on their crypto wallet. My last video I made a few days ago. The big guys are coming. They're coming in for sure. So I do believe that he will certainly see jail time. Treat your ledger the same as your house and car keys. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to flip back over to YouTube and start scrolling, finish up these questions. Um, let's see. Maybe they find ledger too expensive. Most of the people see crypto as an investment and lack education and haven't actually used it at all. Most can't and don't know what a blockchain is or how it works. They think it's all okay and it won't happen to them until it does. Yep, I agree. And that's one of the reasons why I've wrote my articles like on shorts and lending and the blockchain and stuff like that, because I know a lot of times people, they look at the opportunity and just the trade aspect, or just buy this, it's going to go up because of X, Y, and Z, and they don't really get into a lot of the technicals. I get it. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to post the video so you guys can figure out like transfers and stuff directly from Ledger. But yeah, blockchain and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to remove your coins. It can happen to anybody. None of these exchanges they've all, to some degree, in the last couple of years, have been caught doing shady or just questionable stuff, right? You've seen Robinhood turn off the buy button, and I'm not talking about AMC. I'm talking about when at the peak of when Dogecoin was going to the moon. I don't know if some of you were in then, but we've seen several of those unscheduled maintenances just kind of pop up, and it was like only for like Dogecoin. It was like, it wasn't even like for like Robinhood and stuff like that. You can go buy other coins, you go buy Bitcoin. I was up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, even on the phone with some friends, stuff like that, and it was going off. And we got like the little unscheduled maintenance popping up. Robinhood has done this several times, and even in the stock market, they're not innocent. Binance, let's not forget about their BSC tokens and their wraparound tokens. They weren't trading in Dogecoin. They were like, oh, we hold X amount of Dogecoin, but we're going to trade and use our BSC token. This was a few months ago. I have a bunch of videos on that as well. And they literally have not explained themselves for that at all, or even why, because I'm still trying to figure out, if you have the actual reserves and you didn't need to purchase the actual coins, why would you use your wraparound token? It's just, I don't know. It's just, and I get you want to kind of push your coin and stuff out there, but if it's 1-to-1, then that transparency needs to be there. We need to see the books, because when you start trading in other assets, that's not the actual commodity, the underlying commodity. Things can be a little tricky. It can be 1.2, 1.3 Dogecoin per BSC token, and these are the kinds of things that can happen. And this was just a few months ago, so I know that people kind of look at those two as like the cream of the crop here, but they've both done some questionable things here in the past. And everybody makes mistakes and stuff like that. I get it that we're in uncharted territory. We're all pioneers in this market. I get it, but let's not be foolish here and say that, okay, well, it can't happen to me, or I think this, or my emotions about this brokerage says that they're going to be okay. It can certainly happen to anyone. So absolutely, I don't know how to say your name here. Was it ADMF? Fun, but yeah, absolutely. I have it on Robinhood, so if I lose my coins, that means I lose all my money. I'm not sure what you mean, but you mean like if Robinhood falls, do you lose your money? More than likely, yeah. If you lose your coins, I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you meant wallet, then no, as long as you remember your key phrases. But if the brokerage goes under, then yes, you're pretty much screwed. What about safety of a crypto IRA? The ledger seems too complicated for me to use without error. It's really simple. I'm going to post a link in the description section. I really hope you guys check it out. But it's really simple. And crypto IRA, you have to break that down. That is going to raise a lot more questions than a ledger, because you're going to have to see who the IRA is with, what are the terms. That's something that you're going to have to look at with a much closer eye than a ledger. I can promise you that, if you're doing your due diligence. A ledger is not that simple. It may sound like it's complicated. I mean, it's not that difficult. It may sound like it's complicated, but it's not. I can promise you. And again, if you go through the link on my site, use the code Black Friday 10. If you haven't got a ledger yet, you'll get 10% off. Hit the like button, people. There we go. I like that. Thank you, ZT. Is Robinhood safe for stocks? I believe they're okay. I'm not favorable of them, but I do use them like in my groups and stuff like that and Patreon because I know for simplicity purposes, I'm not in love with them, but they do have a very simple platform and capital reserves and stuff like that. So I don't think that they're in risk of going under, or at least not right now. But they're not. It just that it depends on what type of investing you're doing. They don't really have access to like a lot of tools. Like if you're trying to look at inflow, outflow, RSI, MACD, any type of analytical TA stuff, you're not going to be able to do that on Robinhood. So it just really depends on what kind of investor you are. But overall, I believe they're okay um, as far as for them being safe for stocks, quote unquote. Thanks for everything you do for the Dogecoin community. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate you. Let's see. I'm gonna take this off and go back to YouTube. Okay. Do I need to wait for my USB drive from Ledger, or can I start moving my coins? You'll technically. I never started before I got it. Even if you were trying to get into like Ledger Live, but you'll be able to access Ledger Live once you get your device. So I'd say wait. I'm down 80%. If I sell some, won't sell most of it. How does it work? Selling some of it at a loss instead of selling some at a loss instead of all at a loss. I'm not sure what you mean by selling some at a loss instead of all of it, because if it's at a loss, you can just depreciate that against any of your gains. That's typically how it works. I'm not sure where you're located at, but typically, yeah, whatever you lose, you count that against like your gains to kind of get like an idea of like your actual profit margin. Is Robinhood considered an exchange? Yeah, I mean it's what I would call a hybrid because they primarily do stocks, but they do crypto. But I would, because they do crypto, you have to kind of consider them an exchange as well, even though they don't have like a wide variety, but you still have to consider them an exchange. I can't take my crypto out of Robinhood as I live in New York, and Robinhood doesn't give me an option to put on Ledger. I moved all my coins from my Coinbase account though. I understand I haven't figured out a concrete way to get around New York yet. We were working on some stuff with like VPNs a while back, but um, I don't know. I know some people have kind of like moved their address or stuff around so they can move their coins. Not telling you to do that. I just know it happens, but I don't know of a concrete way to get around that New York situation, especially if they look at it and see that you live there. They're going to just not allow you to open up a wallet. So, um, I know that kind of sucks, but I'm glad you did remove some of your coins so that you can have at least some of them protected. It's absolutely foolish to not get a hardware wallet like a Ledger. Exchanges are not safe, and I hate to see people lose their hard-earned money for no reasons. Ledgers are very easy to use with step-by-step instructions. Don't lose your money. I agree. Crypto the conqueror. I agree. I don't want to pay taxes on what I sell. That's why I'm keeping my Dogecoin on the exchange. You're not selling, you're transferring. This is a very important question. So when you transfer your coins, you're not selling them. It's simply a transfer. So when you transfer your coins to a different exchange or whatever, to a ledger, that is not a taxable event. That's no different than you transferring stock from, E-Trade to, I don't know, TD Ameritrade or, I don't know, Charles Schwab or something like that. You're not taking a profit. You're simply just moving your assets. That's not a taxable event. Well, it's not here. I don't know where your location at, but from what I read across the board on the as far as tax concerns in the United States, that's not a taxable event. You're simply just transferring and not taking profit. So you'd have to actually take profit, have access to profit in order for it to be a taxable event. So, but I'm not a CPA. Consult with your CPA, but from my experience, that does not generate a tax return. I mean, a taxable event. Is something going to happen, or is it safe? I only invested $1,000 and now it's down to $350. Is it worth moving? When you look at opportunity, and if you're holding for a long term, no matter what your DCA is, even at the moment, 350 is better than zero. And then, of course, when we have these catalysts and things like that move around, I'm assuming you're saying you're investing in Dogecoin, but let's say it does go up to a dollar or whatever a coin. Now you lost 350 in cash at that particular time, but then now look at your opportunity cost. Now it's well into the thousands of dollars. So you kind of have to kind of look at both, because I think your amount of coin, right? You can't determine the value of should I move my coins based off of the amount that you have right now. You also have to kind of calculate the opportunity cost and say, if I don't move my coins and X, Y, Z happens, how much money have I actually lost? And then that should be your true motivation for, moving your coins and stuff like that. I have crypto on Webull. How do I transfer that? Yeah, Webull doesn't currently have a wallet, so it doesn't. You're not able to transfer it. But that's what I was speaking on earlier when I said that these hybrid platforms, something like a Webull, Robinhood, I believe that because they have more reserves in different avenues, if something were to happen to the company, that they're not going to pillage crypto. At least they don't have to pillage crypto to come up with money. I heard these nano wallets are getting hacked. I haven't heard that unless they got it from eBay or something like that, and they got a used wallet and someone already had the key phrases or they put some spyware onto it. But I have not heard of a new ledger getting hacked. Here in NY, Robinhood don't give out wallets, so we're screwed. I don't want to say that, but I will say that if you purchase any additional ones, I do that through like Ledger Live. If you, even for the other guy in New York, if you get a ledger and you can certainly purchase on Ledger Live as well, I think that'll give you more options. So that's just something to consider. No brainer to spend 100 for a cold wallet to secure thousands in crypto and NFT assets. Absolutely, Jan. Absolutely. Why is there a limited transfer or send from Robinhood to Ledger? It says 5K every 24 hours. Sometimes more than 24 hours sucks. Yeah, that's because these exchanges don't want everybody. They do this to prevent runs on the account. It's no different than when you go to an ATM and you have your ATM limit, or if you go to the bank and you got, I don't know, $10 million in there, and you say, "Hey, I want to take it out." Like what? Like in cash? Like no, you don't have that. Like you're going to have to do that in increments, because you're going to throw off their books and their accounting and stuff like that. So they kind of slow it down so you can kind of drip it out so they can make an account for it. So, and again, when we talk about these exchanges, a lot of the time, these exchanges, if it's lent or if it's for staking purposes or whatever, they're using it to generate revenue. They can't afford to give everybody their coins back at once. So that's why we start seeing these issues when there's runs on these exchanges. It's not even that expensive to buy a wallet. It makes no sense. I agree. I think that it's well worth the investment if you're going to be investing in crypto. Might as well lose that little fucking ledger thingy after 1 week. My kids will be like they dropped it in the fish tank. You can, well, I hope not, but even if that did happen, you can still access your coins, Ryan. You just would need another ledger, but I would hope that they wouldn't drop it in the fish tank, especially this week since you can get $30 in Bitcoin. Yep, that was a great deal for Black Friday. Absolutely. I'm almost off now, waiting on Robinhood to confirm my identity for the 12th time to remove my remaining assets. Robinhood sucks. Yeah, they're very particular about removing those coins. It's a it gets counted toward the overall value of the brokerage, the exchange. So they try and monitor or slow down those quick withdrawals or those runs of the market. What's that? There's several wallets and stuff out there. Ledger. The reason I say Ledger is because that's what I personally use. I know some people like to use Trezor and stuff like that, but I prefer Ledger. So I only endorse or promote what I actually use. So, but there are some other options out there. I can't take my coins off Webull. Yeah, I understand Webull doesn't have a wallet. So yeah, so if you bought any more, I would just say buy on a different exchange, or buy on Ledger Live or something like that. Or no, I wouldn't even say sell and buy back in, because depending on your account, that can still take too long. So yeah, I would just say if you're going to increase your position, just make sure you do it on like Ledger Live or something so you won't be stuck. Okay, so that's all the questions and comments and stuff. I went through all of them. It took me roughly about 40 minutes. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Let's go through some of these. So tried using my VPN to get my Doge off Robinhood, and they asked for an electric bill and my name. Oh, wow. Yeah, Robinhood is, yeah, they're on it. They're on it. They don't want to get in trouble with New York. I want to remove my Dogecoin Robinhood, but because I live in New York, I can't. Will they ever allow us to have wallets in NY? I don't know. I believe they will at some point. I think that probably just after regulation. If Gary Gensler ever does something or comes up with some type of regulation, but I know they will. I just don't know the time frame for that. So not, it's not, because I don't think Robinhood particularly cares, but they kind of have to go and they have to respect New York's wishes. I don't think that Robinhood has a thing against New York or whatever, but I think that it's more so just the state, and I think the state will kind of align with it more once we have some concrete resolutions and solutions from the SEC and stuff like that. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Sending lots of love to the Doge family from Pakistan. We're holding strong, not selling. I love you all. Doc Mitchell, do your thing. Good vibes. Thank you, Pac-Man. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know a lot of you are in New York, so I'm going to, I'll save that announcement, but I'll just say that I'll see a lot of you guys in New York and stuff. I will see you guys soon. I'll say that. Let's see. David, I was thinking to keep a DC on Robinhood for now, then transfer. Is that a good idea? I mean, I wouldn't, because it's really not a benefit. Like, there's no benefit of keeping your coins on there. Like, I think a lot of times people get caught up in like their DCA and stuff like that. Your coin count, especially if you're long term, your coin count is what's going to matter more. You can still DCA. Your DCA is like, just because you don't have all your coins in one spot, it doesn't throw off your DCA. It may make it a little difficult for you to calculate it, but your overall cost per coin, you can still keep track of that. That's why I recommend doing it in several places, even if it's on like a Excel or something like that. It's like, hey, look, I have 10,000 coins at this price, and I bought, the 5,000 over here at this price. You can always come back and calculate your DCA, but you cannot always get your coins back if that exchange goes to hell. So I personally wouldn't wait for that. That's no, absolutely not. Appreciate your patience. No problem, Debbie. Thank you. Let's see. Doc Mitchell, I saw your picture with that sharp suit and no beard. I was like, man, he looks like a Wall Street dude who will steal my money. Yeah, I got to take some new pictures. I grew my beard out since I took those pictures. Let's see. Cardano, ADA. Thoughts on using a crypto paper wallet? I'm not sure what you mean by paper wallet. I skipped your question. What's your question? Where are you? How you think the 14 million Dogecoins mined per day affects the price? Thanks. As of right now, even with like the demand and stuff going into the coin, as of right now, it's not an issue. And even if, as long as we're having the spread of like utility and stuff like that, that 14 million is not going to be enough, right? So I did a series of videos on this. I won't go too far into it, but let's say like right now we have roughly 135 billion coins, and let's say that we are going to have mass utility on Twitter and just another website, and let's just say $1 evaluation per coin. That's 135 billion dollars, right? Less than less than what, 10%, 5% of the peak of the crypto market. So not a giant leap in capital from where we once were, but for a currency, that's not a lot of coins, right? 135 billion is not a lot for a currency, especially something like if we're saying it's the people's currency, it's going to be the currency of the internet, stuff like that. 135 billion is not a lot. So I did the math on a number of my previous videos. You can look at like the titles, but I think the most popular one is why we need more coins. But um, it's something like a couple grand and there would be no more coins, even just based off of the wallet that hold crypto. Right now, there would be no more Dogecoin available. So I know that number may seem daunting, but at these prices and stuff like that, it's not having a huge effect. And if you're looking at something to actually be used as a currency, you're going to want to have an increased supply, because what would happen is if we would have a Bitcoin effect, let's say we did get major utility on Twitter or Amazon, or Elon comes out with that phone that he was talking about and stuff like that, and we could pay in Dogecoin, and if we just had this huge strain on the free float, right? The price of Dogecoin would go astronomical if we were not making more coins. So, and then at that point, it wouldn't be used as a currency. You have to kind of use it more so as, like stable value or something like that to um, be used for hoarding versus an actual currency. So I know that number can be, downing, but just Dogecoin's purpose is going to be a little different from something that uses scarcity value or scarcity to determine its value. So this is more so about utility and usage. So hope that makes sense. Um, let's see. If Ledger is a company that provides this hardware to move your keys off the exchange and into a pool on the blockchain, what happens if Ledge, the company, goes under? I wouldn't say necessarily it's into a pool, but you have the ability, because even like with like on Ledger Live and stuff like that, you have the ability to still access your coins. Like it's still on the. That's one of the reasons why it's still on the exchange, and then you have like your passwords and stuff like that. So it's not limited to the particular company, because your coins never leave the exchange. So if Ledger, I don't know, burned down or went bankrupt or whatever, those key phrases and stuff like that are still going to unlock your coins on the blockchain. So it's not limited to cash grabs or the particular company. The Ledger just makes it a little easier to access them, but you'll still have those coins and stuff like that on the exchange. So it's a little different from like when a company or like an exchange goes bankrupt, because it's not pulled in with the exchange's currencies, but you're looking at almost like your own little direct avenue to the blockchain with your key phrases and stuff like that. So it's not going to be like, okay, I don't have a ledger goes under or whatever for whatever reason and stuff like that. The most important thing is going to be that you have your key phrases, and then you're still going to be able to use your avenue to get to the your coins. Let's see. Um, where do you see Doge 2025? That's the next cycle, so we should be at around like $1 or something like that. Like, yeah, I say like the next cycle, especially if we have the mass integration and stuff that we're all hoping for. I hope that we should um, be able to like overcome like the resistance and those shorts and stuff like that. But as long as we have utility, that won't be a problem. So, David, please send my BTC money back. Give me my money back, please. What are you talking about? Bitcoin money. Yeah, Kingsman, elaborate. I don't know what you're talking about. I used to laugh when people ask me. Now I think this is a legitimate question. Could Doge surpass BTC? Maybe not market cap, but at least utility and function. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, right, I was gonna say market cap, no, but utility and function, yeah, I think that it's designed to. It makes more sense. Because if BTC and stuff like that hits 100K on the next cycle and stuff like that, I used to joke about this in my videos. Nobody's using BTC if it's 100K to buy dog food and toilet paper, and I just don't see it being used as that function. Now, and I know you can break it down into like Satoshis and it could be infinite and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But I just, when it has those types of swings daily, I just, that violent, like what we've seen on the last run, I don't think that it's going to, I just don't see it. I could stand corrected, but as of right now, I think that there's other options out there, i.e., something like a Dogecoin would make more sense. But as of right now, that's a little difficult for me to see. Um, Thanks for the info. No problem. Yeah. How do you feel about my Doge wallet? I like my Doge. I like my Doge. I'm probably going to have some people from them on my channel at some point, but I like my Doge. I don't have an issue with them. Let's see. Man, you fell for a bot comment. I think she got scammed by someone pretending to be you. Oh man. Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I know. I keep forgetting about those WhatsApp people. I hope she didn't get scammed by WhatsApp. I hope that's just a bot comment now, and that's not an actual person that got scammed by those WhatsApp. Yeah. So, and I'll go ahead and say that now. I don't contact people or WhatsApp or I don't comment on your post and say I have something special for you. Contact me at WhatsApp and stuff. I don't write stuff like that. If I have something to say to you or something to offer you, I'll say it in the description section or in the community section. Those are things that only I have access to. So it's not something like a comment where anybody can comment. Um, uh, that's not, that's not let me see. Remember you took my money and now you're asking for 500 more. Please send it back. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe that was on like WhatsApp or something like that. Because I don't take BTC for anything. I think you might be right. What, Ro Jogan? I don't know. I think she might be a bot. I don't know. It's not funny. But let's see. What is there's not another cycle? Hate to ask, but sometimes I want if there's not another cycle. I don't think that there won't be another cycle. Even if you look at my last video, if you look at the JP Morgan getting like their own wallet and stuff like that, you look at the positioning that's happening. They're positioning to make a move in crypto, right? I don't think that even if you look at some of the investigations and the research done by uh, like the feds and stuff like that, you'll see that they're making their moves to have regulation in crypto. JP Morgan's coming into crypto. You've seen Citadel has expressed interest in crypto. And of course the Fed is doing their research for their crypto dollar or whatever. It's too much energy and effort that's going into researching the market or to have a presence in the market. So I think that that's going to uh, ensure that I think crypto is here to stay. I'll say that much. But I'm really confident that we're going to see another cycle. Let's see. Fidelity posts their customers will be able to invest in cryptocurrency. They haven't said which ones exactly, but it works. But it's in the works. Absolutely, yeah. I think that we're going to see an expansion here in crypto the next cycle for sure. I really think that's going to be. Um, we're going to see more people and more businesses and stuff like that. At least people that are selling crypto or giving the access to actually purchase crypto. I think we're going to see more people offering it. And I think that we'll see more businesses willing to accept it once we have like some regulations and stuff in there. That's one thing I talked about in my last video is I know that we're pushing for utility, but we have to look at this not from a investor standpoint, but from a business standpoint. If you run a business and every other month you see rug pulls, exchanges going under, bankruptcy, stuff that looks like money laundering. It's just all this kind of stuff like every other month. they're going to be terrified to accept crypto. Like it's going to be like, no, absolutely not. I need some type of insurance policy. So I think that we'll see more adoption, maybe after we get like some regulation or something like FDIC, things like that. I think we'll see a more willingness to use crypto, because as of right now, if you're a business just sitting on the sidelines thinking about getting in, it looks risky. So I understand that from their point of view as well. So just kind of keep that in mind and not just look at it from a investor standpoint. What's my price prediction for the end of the year for dogs? For dogs. I think that what we're looking at right now, even if we look at the charts, I'm going to have another video. I'll go over it tomorrow. We've got some bounces off around like 708 last time I looked, which is great. But as of right now, I think that we're going to kind of like be like in this sideways movement until we get some concrete definition of what's going on, like in the macros, and also if what's going to happen with the liquidation and stuff that we've seen in the crypto market. So I think that we'll probably build up some support and still set up a higher high, just not as high as it was, just because of the sell-off that FTX and stuff like that had to do. But I think that it's possible that we're going to see a higher high consolidate at around like that 8 and 9 cent range, which we've been holding up really well. We have two tests right now down to around 7. So you could call it a trend, but I'm looking for a third right now, just because we've been swinging so wildly and we are in gap up territory. But I think as of right now, we're just going to probably have some sideways movement and build up that support in that area. But we'll see how the macros comes and how these numbers and stuff come out. Jay Powell's speech, see if he's going to pause the hikes. There's a lot of interesting things that can happen before the holidays. So, we can see that can always kind of shock the market or cause a change. But as of right now, with the information that I have, I think that it is highly likely that we're going to kind of trend sideways for now. BTC going to depth of 13K. Yeah, I think BTC is probably going to 9 or 10. It's a couple of catalysts, but yeah, 13K is definitely in the window. Absolutely. What's going on with Genesis? There's a run on the markets, and they use those coins for what is it? Not assets, but they use those coins for like lending and all that kind of stuff like that. And when that's your main source of income, you have to stop the bleeding. And when you're a business and you stop the bleeding, I mean, and you are bleeding, you only have two choices. You have to make more money, or try and stop what's happening. And typically, the fastest thing versus making more money is to stop the bleeding. So you stop withdrawals and cause all that other kind of stuff. So, I think that's what we're kind of going to see what's going on here over like the next. I'd say over the next year, we're going to see a lot of that. Let's see, David, it's your boy. You think it's time to make one hold their Dogecoin unless they use it? After all, it was created to be used or spent. Yeah, I still don't think it's gonna. I still think that's gonna work. I I recognize your profile picture, so I definitely remember you. But yeah, I still don't think that's gonna work, man. I still don't think that trying to force people to hold and stuff like that. I don't think the devs or even the community is gonna go for something like that. So I still don't think that's going to work. So Matt Wallace is definitely deleting his YouTube account since he says $1 before the end of the year. I don't think he's going to delete his account anyway. But yeah, if he's waiting on $1 by the end of the year, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. I kind of hope so, but also might set us back a few years as far as the mass adoption. Absolutely. Thanks for all you do and the information you provide. Enjoy your content and expertise. I appreciate you. Thank you. You can just buy through Coinbase and move it to Ledger immediately. Yeah, that's certainly an option. Yeah, I wouldn't hold on there unless I'm trading. Long term gets moved off immediately. Kingsman got scammed by the same person I did and reported to you. Yeah, wow, Cheryl. Yeah, so the people, I don't take BTC and I don't reach out, and I don't contact people on, was it Telegram? I don't comment on your comment and ignore what you said and say, I got something special for you, contact me and all that kind of stuff like that. That is literally a scammer's. And if you send them anything, you're never going to see it again. And I don't want people to fall for that. Anything that I have for you or to offer you, or any services I want to provide, is going to be in my description section or my comment section. Anything else is absolutely not me. Um, let's see. Others, Kingsman and Cheryl, that message me on, well, not message me, email me. I'll give you my email. Put it in the chat. I don't know if Kingsman is still on, but so this is my email in the chat. Do you think the future human moon missions will be a big challenge for Doge One range? It can be, but it's not necessarily. That's more of a pump. That's not a, like when you talk about moon landings and stuff like that. That's an event, and then it's over. That's not sustainability. We're talking about that's something that's going to be a swing trader's dream. So I'm not sure how you're playing. If you're a swing trader, yeah, that's going to be a great day for you. Um, but as far as for a catalyst for the dollar range, to if we're close already, certainly that can get us over the hump, sure. But as far as for longevity wise, I don't think it'll, whatever we get from that moon landing will probably go away as quickly as it came, because we're going to have the traders taking profits. I'm pretty sure shorts are going to be following that space shuttle to the moon. So I don't think it'll be sustainable long term, but I do think that it will certainly be, if you're trading or trying to make a quick profit, I think that'll be a great day for people who are playing that way. But sustainability and long term, I don't think it's going to hold value over the long term. Let's see. How do I feel about my Doge wallet? I like my Doge wallet. I actually have an account there. I like it. I see. Will shorts still be an issue if Twitter incorporated Doge? Yeah, shorts. I mean, if you have the ability to short something, there's going to be somebody trying to short it, right? I don't care what it is. There's, Apple has shorts, like, which is crazy. But it's, if you know what you're doing, you can make money with them. But I don't think that it's going to be as big of an issue, because we're going to have a lot of coins that are leaving the exchanges and not going back. So I think that the shorts won't be as big of an issue as they once were, if we were just kind of waiting on the next catalyst or something like that to come up. Let's see. What I meant was, if I'm down 80% on a 6K investment and I only sell 1K, do I lose 80% of that 1K sold? Yeah, well, technically, you're 80%. Yeah, so technically, yeah, your loss has already been calculated into that. So yeah, technically are taking 80% off of the 6K. So I get what you're saying, but yeah, that's already been factored into that. So if you uh, if you take your profit after you've already lost 80%, yeah, that number, technically you've lost 80% of the value of that, what that 1K would have been if it would have sustained its value. That's correct. Um, Makes sense. Absolutely. I believe Doge $1. Not this year. The world economy has to recover. Karma's up. Death's up. People don't want to work. Bad combination. Yeah, yeah. I still believe. I think Doge is going to get to $1. Just, yeah, but definitely not this year. Not in the next 30 days. That'll be a wild explosion. I don't know what it would take to make that happen, but that'll be a wild explosion. See, that's why Elon's working so hard for free speech and regain the trust of the people. Without world stability, there will not be any more bull runs for a while. Absolutely. Hey, I don't know if people know how dope your Discord is. Oh, hey, David, I don't know if people know how dope your Discord is. Yeah, I may, um, I was talking with someone earlier today. I may start promoting it the right way, quote unquote. But as of right now, it's at a point where I can maintain it, and everyone can kind of learn together. But I appreciate you, Len. I'm very proud of the Discord and the community we've built. Absolutely. Where do you see crypto in the next 5 years? I think I think we're gonna get over like the 5 trillion mark in the next 5 years. I think that we're going to see a consolidation overall, but the coins that are able to survive and make it through this cut, I think that we're going to see. I think that we're going to see a massive accumulation of value in those coins that are able to make it to the next round. I think that's going to be where the true value and the explosion is going to be in terms of sustainability and also just profit. And those coins are the ones that's going to make it to the next round. So I am grateful for all of you. And for those of you that are new and those of you that are asking about trading and stuff like that, you do, and even if you're looking at the coins that, not coins, but if you're looking at stocks and stuff like that, and you're worried about like some of the corruption and stuff you see with front running and stuff like that, that's one of the reasons, because I use Moomoo too. So that's one of the reasons why you see them in my video and in my description section, is because they're not they're not sharing your information and doing payment for order flow and stuff like that. So if you are doing stocks in addition to crypto as well, you can check out Moomoo in the description section as well, and you can get like 15 free stocks right now. So that's a way. Most of the companies and stuff I do business with are the ones that are around sharing your information, and because I think it's just unfair, even with like having your coins on exchange, is to you're trying to hold your investment on to make more money, and the exchange is using your own coins against you, lending them out so people can take a negative. I hate stuff like that. So that is why I use things like Ledger and Moomoo and stuff like that, so that I'm not contributing to my own headache. I'll say that. Elon is talking about a new phone. What you think? Well, he said that he hope he doesn't have to, but they think that with his position on Twitter and stuff like that, Apple and Google may stop. Apple and Google may not have Twitter available on the App Store. So they're saying they may just kind of cut him off like altogether. So he was saying at that point he'd make a phone so that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. My ledger is coming soon. Can't wait. Absolutely. And if you don't have a ledger, go through my link in the description section. Use code Black Friday 10, and you'll get 10% off the price of the ledger. Cheers, David. Thank you, Road Joke. I appreciate you. There's no future for crypto without free speech and trust. Absolutely. Let's see. Nicholas D. Mitchell, I think I speak for a lot of people who watch your videos when I say I really do appreciate all the work you do. You are the only crypto YouTuber who's not leading people astray. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm just here. I just want to provide information. That's why if I don't have anything to say, I don't. I'm not going to put out, if I have additional information, something changes and I need to put out a couple of videos in a day, I will. If I don't, I won't. So I appreciate you guys for recognizing that and finding value. So I appreciate that. Hit the like button. Absolutely. Thank you. And with that, ZT and the rest of you, I appreciate you guys for hanging on here for like the last hour and 8 minutes. So please, if you have the opportunity to like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you have not. And I will see you guys in the next video. I will see you guys tomorrow, actually. I don't know if I'll go live, but I'll be at the premiere with you guys. So I answer your questions in the comment section and stuff. So with that, I thank you all for tuning in with me and have a good night. Thank you.